Get ready for your daily dose of marketing strategies and tactics from entrepreneurs with the guile and experience to help you find success in any marketing capacity. You're listening to Marketing School with your instructors, Neil Patel and Eric Sue.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Sue.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about, should you be hiring a PR agency for your business? So let's say you have a great product, you're ready to get it out there, you want to get on Wall Street Journal, you want to get on Good Morning America, you want to get on all these outlets. Does it make sense for you to hire a PR agency? So first and foremost, I'm going to say if you're first starting out and you expect a launch to take you out the distance, it's never going to happen like that. For the most part, probably 99.9% of the time, you're going to launch. What you're going to see is you're going to see a big spike in traffic, and then it's going to die down, right? So if you're okay with that, then by all means. But I'm going to assume that you're looking for a sustained growth curve, and if you're looking for PR initially, and you're just starting out, PR is probably not the best fit for you. You're probably looking to talk to customers, a lot of hand-to-hand combat, and you're going to look for slow, sustainable growth, not so much PR in the very beginning.
I've hired quite a few PR companies. One of the ones I paid for my book was 48. They did okay. Wasn't worth the $30-something thousand. Then I've also been using Guest Booker. I signed a 1-year deal with the 3-month out clause. I literally pulled the plug on them in the first month. They're $10,300 a month. I have to say, huge waste of money. They sucked at getting PR, at least relevant PR. They may disagree and be like, oh, you were traveling and we couldn't get you on. But you know what? They weren't that responsive, and they were all this hype, and they have one of the best names in the PR industry, but they sucked at getting TV press. At least good press that was relevant for the business, that would move the needle in revenue. What I found with PR is the best way to hire a PR person is someone who's just really good at it themselves, and pull them from an agency and have them work for you. It's way cheaper. For example, I have a Brazil team, right? We've expanded to Brazil. And there's this PR company that's owned by WPP, and they're really good at getting press. They try charging me in US dollars, it would be around $11,000 a month. It took them, I kid you not, 1 week to send me a generic proposal after I met them in person. Like, yeah, we can get you a ton of press, let's move quick. 1 week for a generic proposal that they just put my name in. I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not going to sign up if you guys move this slow. And the person that would lead the PR campaign, guess how much they pay her? 2,500 reais a month. So let's say if they're paying me if I'm paying them roughly 11,000 USD per month, they're paying the person around $800 per month. And I asked that girl, I'm like, so who does the work? Like, do you use your upper management, et cetera, to get the PR contacts and stuff? They're like, no, I just do all the work. They just help me come up with the overall plan, but I had to do the outreach. I had to find the connections on my own. They don't do much. So I outreached to her and I was like, you know what? I'll pay you, I think the dollar amount, I pretty much offered her double what the company's paying her in US dollars. And she was ecstatic. And I was like, it's bullshit. A lot of these PR companies, unless they have the relationships, they're having someone else do the work, pay them a fraction of the price, and they're just pocketing everything. I want results. I don't mind spending 10, 11 grand, but I don't want to move with or I don't want to sign up with someone who's slow. Almost all PR companies are really slow, US or international. And if I were you, if you're going to do PR, find a person, don't find a company. I've spent so much money on companies, probably 300-400 grand over the years that I've been in business. Very few people have very few companies have provided me results. Every time I've worked with a specific person, I've gotten way better traction and results.
Neil brings up a really important point, especially if those of you that actually want to work with Neil, you got to move quickly. So one thing I will say is back in my VP days, there was a PR agency that we already had on retainer, and we were paying them 10 grand a month. And they weren't really doing much at all. As a matter of fact, they would just pretty much sit back there and say, oh, we tried these outreaches, we're using these tools. I think the PR industry in general is pretty antiquated, the way I look at it. Neil actually recommended somebody that was pay for performance, and he came over to us, and our PR just took off from there. We had a great product, we had great customers, and he got us into outlets such as Wall Street Journal, got us into local newspapers as well. things just took off for there, and he was paid for performance. So each placement he got us onto was actually, we'd compensate him then. We wouldn't just pay some arbitrary, $10,000, $20,000 retainer a month. So we ended up using him. Things were great. And what's interesting was that he actually got called out on TechCrunch. And the PR agencies, the PR people were just ripping him apart, saying this model is not sustainable, blah, blah, blah. It's an insult to the PR industry. When in fact, this guy was actually disrupting the way PR works because of his model.
His name's Chris Barrett.
Yeah.
I love him to death.
Chris Barrett's great. He's the only PR person I know that has actually done a really exceptional job, and I've had no qualms with him.
Did you introduce me to Chris, or did
you introduced me to Chris?
I introduced you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought you introduced me to Chris. I don't even know how I found him, but Chris is amazing. I was paying him like $500, and he would get me on Tech. He's like, if I get you on there, you owe me $500 or $700. I'm like, no problem. Like, how many times can you get me? Once a day?
Yeah. And with Chris, I mean, we have no affiliation with him here. Feel free to reach out him. Feel free to reach out to him if you want to. Yeah, I mean, I think PR does make sense if the costs actually make sense, right? So in this case, if you compare a regular PR agency, Neil's talking about 10 to 20 grand a month, versus Chris, where you're paying $500 to $750 for a post on TechCrunch, and the post that he got us one post, and it actually led to 5 more posts. So that one post actually led to 6 posts. And one of those additional ones was from Eek magazine. So just think about that. When you have somebody that knows how to really work efficiently and the prices are fair, that's when it makes sense to work with a PR agency. Again, I think the model is really antiquated, and I think it needs to be quote unquote disrupted. And I think Chris is doing that nowadays. But again, going back to the very beginning, if you're just starting out, you don't have product market fit yet, maybe PR doesn't make sense for you. I think once you have your ducks in a row, you're starting to acquire customers, you have some predictable channels, maybe PR makes sense to get that next level bump. Neil, anything else to add from your side?
The other thing to add is if you're looking for good PR people, there's a lady named Janine from Fresh PR. I've used her. She's good. Chris Barrett, performance-based PR is really good. There's another guy named Richard Lorenzen from Fifth Avenue Brands. He's also good. And if you think about it, all these people that we're mentioning, they may claim they have a company, which they do, but it's the individual. It's not about the agency or the company. You have to work with the individual. If they try passing you off to someone else within the organization, you won't get the same results.
That's actually another interesting point. Even though I have an agency, I always talk to the clients or people that are that might work with us. I always tell them, your goal is to eventually graduate from the agency and hire people in-house. Hiring people in-house, or hiring an individual at least, you're gonna have a much more personal relationship, and it's not just a bunch of account managers. So you do ideally want to be working with one person, and if you can manage to poach him like Neil did, by all means, go ahead and do that. But I think that's it for this episode of Marketing School. And anything else to add?
I'm good on mine.
All right, we're good. So see you tomorrow. Let us know what you think. And if you have more topics, please send them over.
This session of Marketing School has come to a close. Be sure to subscribe for more daily marketing strategies and tactics to help you find the success you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best daily content possible. We'll see you in class tomorrow, right here on Marketing School.